Okay friends, now that we have our root vegetables and our onion and garlic and all that stuff cooking and simmering in the pot with our water and chicken broth, or you can use beef broth, either way is fine. Now it's time to get our herbs ready and get our meatballs ready. So I've washed my herbs really good. Now parsley kind of looks like a weird 3-leaf, 4-leaf clover. So it's a little bit different than oregano, and it's a little bit different than the other ones we're using. Okay, but that's parsley. And then mint. It smells so good. I love mint. Here's my mint. Okay, you want to make sure that it's washed really good, and I just took a paper towel and just kind of dry it a little bit more because they hold water a lot. So you want 1/4 of a cup of each, but you don't want the little stems. So I kind of scooted all of the leaf part down to one end. I'm just gonna give it a nice cut, and remember, when you chop, you go down and away from you, not towards anyone. Always cut away from you. So you want to kind of get most of the leaves and discard the stems. You don't want the stems. And then I kind of pick through a little bit and get any major stems that I have missed, because you don't really want to eat the stems. You just want the leaf part. So I just kind of go through and pick real fast the stems out. Doesn't have to be perfect because it is kind of another rough chop. You don't want it to be super fancy just yet. That comes later. Get most of the stems out. All right. I have little pieces all over me. This kind of smells, how I best describe it, as like earthy. It reminds me of, I don't know, the forest. I don't know why it reminds me of the forest. But it's kind of an earthy smell. And then I go through and I kind of give it another rough chop one way. Remember, cutting down and away from you. And then remember how we put our hand on the small part of the blade and we move the big part of the blade? Just gonna go through and give it a nice quick rough chop so that it's in smaller pieces. Making sure most of it's all kind of cut up. You don't want super big leaves because this is gonna go in your meatballs, so you don't want like a random big leaf everywhere. And I'm gonna put this in my bowl. There we are. Now I'm gonna do my mint. Same thing, you kind of want to get all the stems to one end and all the leaves on the other. Make sure your fingers are not in the way. And pick out, you want to kind of pick out some of the major stems, the big stems, because you don't want to eat those. I mean, you can, it's edible, but it's, I don't know, a little odd to find like a random stem in your food. Okay. And again, same thing, I'm going to do a rough chop, both directions. Chopping up all the big pieces. Remember to keep your fingers out of the way. This also, when you chop it up, you can smell, like it releases all the oils and you can smell all the like yumminess. I love the way mint smells. It smells so good. Especially fresh mint. Ooh, you should try it if you like lemonade. Try putting a little bit in your lemonade. It's really good. All right, that's all nice and chopped up. Put that in my bowl. All right, I'm gonna clean off my cutting board real fast because this is where I'm gonna put my meatballs on. All right, clean as you go, discard any other trash that you may have. All right, now I'm gonna add in my rice to my bowl, and you're gonna need a 1/3 cup of rice, 1/3 cup of rice. I leave mine in a sealed container because we eat a lot of rice in this house. I love rice. Okay. So measure out 1/3. Now this is uncooked rice. You don't want to cook it because it's gonna cook in the meatballs. A little bit more. Okay. Close that nice and tight. All right. I'll take my meat. Remember, you want to wash your hands really good after you deal with raw meat, raw anything. Cut this open. If I can get this cut open. There we go. So this is a pound of beef. You can use any type of meat, really, that you want to. Ground beef is just very common. We're also going to put in 1 egg. Make sure when you break your egg, you don't get any eggshells, so you want to be careful. Okay, I'm kind of weird. I gotta go wash my hand off. I don't like egg feeling. All right. Now you can take a fork or spoon, or you can mix it with your hands. Either way is fine. But you just kind of want to mix the ingredients together loosely before adding in spices. So the rice acts like what breadcrumbs are equivalent to Italian meatballs. The rice kind of helps keep it all together with the egg. It kind of keeps the meatball in that shape, and it adds as like a thickening agent. So I mean, that's kind of cool. Okay, so it's just roughly mixed together. So now I'm going to add in some spices. I'm going to add some salt. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper because I like it spicy, and then I'm putting a little bit of garlic salt in mine, or I'm sorry, garlic powder in mine because I love garlic. It's good. You can too if you so choose. Okay, and I'm going to stir that all together. You want to get nice and mixed in. Get the rice mixed in all evenly. And all of your spices and herbs mixed in evenly. Gosh, it smells so good. Love how that smells. Okay, so once it's mixed in really good, you're going to take a little bit of it, and either you can use gloves or your hands. Make sure either way you need to wash them really, really good when you're done. And you want to squish it all together and make a meatball. Yeah. Now, I can't ever get mine perfectly round. That's okay. It can be whatever shape you want them to be. There we go. It's kind of like playing with Play-Doh. It's all squishy. It's my favorite part about cooking, when you can touch all the ingredients. So you want to make all your meatballs. And then we'll put them in the soup. Now that we have our meatballs all done, I'm gonna take carefully the lid off of my soup. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, and we're gonna carefully put in our meatballs. I'm gonna turn my fire down just a little bit. Okay. So now you don't want to throw them in because they'll splash back at you, and that really is not good. That will suck. You don't want to get hot, soup all over you. So we're going to carefully put them in. I'm just going to drop it in one at a time. This helps them stay together. Some of them will break up just a little bit, and that's okay. It'll still taste good. Give it a light stir on top. Remember, you want to not throw them in so you don't get a splashback. I'm kind of placing them kind of everywhere so they're not all just piled up in one spot. They will move around a little bit because your soup is going to simmer again. There we go. So I'm going to let that cook. Now it's going to take about 30 minutes. You want to make sure that the meat is cooked all the way through. So I'm just going to put the lid back on. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to do my dishes while I let this cook. Because remember, we're just playing with raw meat. So now we need to now we need to clean everything really good. Okay, my soup is almost ready to add in the rest of the ingredients. If you're using a crock pot, this is the time that you would move it into a crock pot. Or you can just add the rest of the ingredients and let it do its thing. But I have my cilantro and my oregano. You can use dried oregano too if you want. When I make soup, I use a lot of fresh ingredients. So again, cilantro has bigger leaves, usually longer. Let's see if I can get a leaf in there. Kind of like that. And what I do is I kind of pick off some of the leaves because the stems are like super long. Like super long. And again, you don't want to eat the stems. So I'm just going to pick off some of these leaves. And this, we're gonna do a nice fine chop. So remember earlier how we just kind of like chopped it through, big chunky chops? That's okay, it's totally fine. But we're gonna do a little finer chop. So we're gonna chop it up a little bit longer. Ooh, I love the way this smells. So I'm gonna take off the stems. This is like the hard part, like the long part that takes forever. Is getting all the leaves off the stem. I hope you washed it really good. This adds a lot of flavor to your soup. All right, I've chopped that up. And then I'm going to chop up oregano. You don't need a whole lot. I only pulled out 3 like twigs, stems. So you don't need a whole lot, but I'm going to put that on there. Their leaves look a little bit bigger and flatter. And it smells earthy too, just like how parsley is. You can use dried, you can use fresh, doesn't matter. But we're going to finely chop this up. There we go. So we take, again, We hold on to our knife. We don't put our fingers on the part that's sharp. And we hold down on the small part of the blade. Getting all the stems out of the way. I'm just gonna finely chop this up in little tiny pieces. Spices are what adds lots of flavor to soups. So there's all kinds of soups out there, and they all have lots of spices because it adds different flavors. Get this all chopped up. So you want the leaves to be fairly chopped up. You don't want too big of pieces. You'll see that some of the meatballs have kind of broken down a little bit, so you'll see some of the mint and the parsley that was in them in there too. All right, let's go add this to our soup. Okay friends, I'm gonna put the rest of my soup in my crock pot. If you're just gonna continue boiling it on the stovetop in the pan that you already have, that's totally fine. After you add the ingredients, you're gonna let it simmer for about another 25 to 30 minutes. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer my soup into my crock pot. The steam off. I'm gonna pour in, it says that we can add in peas, so I'm gonna add in peas, and you add in 1.5 cups. These are frozen. 1.5 cups. You can also do like the mixed veggies where it has the corn, and I think some of it comes with carrots or other veggies inside of it. That's always good to use too. So my frozen peas, put them in there. Oop, I got some stuck. Okay. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper for taste, because we added some more ingredients. Okay. I'm gonna put in the parsley, the oregano. There we go. And cilantro mixture that we cut up. Okay. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, now I'm gonna add in my soup and stir it up really good. Guys, this looks amazing. Ah! Okay, and I'm gonna carefully pour it away from me. There we go. Pan in the sink. I'm gonna blend it all together. Now, if you're using a crock pot, I don't know if you can see, some of the rice has already come out of the meatballs. That's okay. That's totally fine. You can still see that my meatballs are mostly intact. That's kind of how they'll look. So now I'm gonna have this on high. If you're using a crock pot to finish out your soup, sorry, I'm trying to stir and talk at the same time. Not a good combination for me. If you're using a crock pot, you want this to simmer on high for about an hour. If you are still using your stovetop, it's gonna take about 25 to 30 minutes for the rest of your ingredients to kind of blend together really well, and then it's ready to eat. There we go. So I have it nice and stirred in. Make sure it's on high. Good. Yes. Oh, look at these meatballs. They look so good. So you can tell they're mostly done. There's no more pink left. The rice is looking like it's getting cooked really well, really thoroughly done. You don't want crunchy rice. That doesn't taste good. You want nice, soft, cooked rice. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cook, and then I'll see you guys for a taste test. Hi friends. So if you have left your soup on the stove and you've already eaten it. I'm so excited to hear what you guys think. My crock pot's been going for about an hour, so now stir it up a little bit. It's time to taste test. Oh yeah, get a little potato in there. You guys, this is so good. Try some of the broth. Guys, this is so yummy. Oh, this is perfect. And it's cold outside right now. I really hope you guys had fun making this. I really hope your recipe is as yummy as mine. And I can't wait to see all your videos and your photos. Send us everything. We'd love to see it. Don't forget to check out the calendar for rockinourdisabilities.com. A lot of great things are going to start happening here soon. So jump on board, see where you can help volunteer or sponsor or just be a part of the event. Okay, so we'll see you guys soon, and I'll see you for the next recipe. Bye.